Hey everybody, this is Casey Currie, and we are live with Driving Line and Nitto Tires. And today we got a special guest. We got Mel Wade, who, dude, I got the chance to go and have an epic adventure last year, and now come to find out he does many, many adventures throughout the year. He races off-road Jeeps. He races the King of the Hammers. He races Best in the Desert, builds some amazing Jeeps. And literally just has an epic time. He also has a place at the river where we do. So, dude, Mel, thank you for joining today.
Thanks for the intro, Casey. Appreciate being on the show.
Dude, no, we're glad to have you. So, dude, let's we're gonna dig right into this, man. Mel, you have done so much for so long, and what I want to know where you came from, man. What's your background and what got you into Jeeping and owning, Evolution Off Road?
Yeah, no, we've been doing it for quite a while now. It's like I think going on our 17th or 18th year. So super excited about that. But we started out. I'm from North Long Beach, kind of the bad area of town. Came from a great family. My dad's a welder. Did a lot of the original cranes down the dock. So, structural welding, fabricator. We always kind of built what we had to go out in the desert. So we're always on dirt bikes and Jeeps and whatever we can get out and get in the desert as growing up. So we always, didn't have a whole bunch of money, so we always fixed our own stuff. And just kind of evolved from there. So I'm a mechanic by trade, got all my ASC certifications, or let them go now, but smog license, all that good stuff. And we started doing more and more off-roading, and it kind of morphed into more Jeep stuff, the whole Jeep lifestyle.
Nice. So you've always done Jeeping then?
Yeah, we've had Jeeps for a long time. Like one of our first Jeeps my dad had was a 75 CJ5, sorry, with a small block Chevy, Dana 44 in the back, and with a good old 4-speed. So that's what we learned how to drive on. My first pickup, my first vehicle, and I still own it. I want to do a rehash on it. Is a 51 Willys pickup truck. So
no way.
So we got it. Had a small. It had the straight 6-cylinder flathead in it, and we ended up putting a small block Chevy in it with a granite 4-speed and everything. So we had it all running by the time I was 15 and a half. Get my driver's license at 16, and so we had it set up on 36-inch buckshots or something, monster mutters or something back in the day. So that's what I was cruising around. Graduated from Lakewood High School, so that's what I had my senior year.
That's funny. My wife actually graduated from Lakewood High School.
So, what year?
Yeah, probably 2002 or 4. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we're a lot earlier than that one.
Funny, small world. So now, Evolution Off Road. How long has it been in business, or how long have you been in business?
I became unemployed, or I always say I'm unemployed right now. So we started full time right around 2003. So me and Lisa, we took the leap. I was at a Saturn dealership in Cerritos. Worked my way over there. Master Tech there, great team that we're working with over there, and we had a cool schedule. We worked four 10-hour days, and the way they staggered them, every 5 days off, I was able to have, every 3 weeks we had 5 days off in a row. So I can make it from here. I think I seen John, your uncle, do a rock crawl competition in Farmington, New Mexico one weekend. So we can make it all the way to Colorado and back on my regular days off. And so that morphed into a lot more off-roading. And then we started doing a lot more side work out of the garage and stuff like that. So about 2003, they went ahead and they worked me from 3 days or 4 days a week to 3 days a week to 2 days a week. I'd come in. They finally let me just have 1 day a week because I had so many side jobs going on. Just super nice guys. They let me do as little as I could there because I was still running the shop for the guys. And they would let me have my health insurance. That was a really, really big help. Shout out to all those guys that helped me out through there, be able to kind of wing my way off to be able to go full time. And then me and Lisa took the leap. We were able to have a property that our cousin was actually leasing out. So we had a good, inexpensive lease to be able to be in that building. And so I quit my job and we went ahead and full time. And me and Lisa's and the kids sweeping the floor, and we started off with that. And I've been plugging away.
So, and now I've been watching on the social media. You just moved.
Yeah, so we moved from Fullerton. We were there for 15 years, and we had three different properties on there that we were leasing them all. And now we moved over to Long Beach, so a lot bigger building. I wish we would have did a lot bigger building than we did because we're already full. It's amazing how that happened.
Yeah.
So we set up beautiful manufacturing site here. We're looking for more welders. If you guys know anyone, you have some more production welders. Um, got a great team on Evo Manufacturing, and I decided to slow down our off-road evolution side, which was our retail side. I was going to slow that down a little bit, and so we're kind of focusing on just complete builds out of my R&D shop over here in Long Beach at the Fullerton or at the Long Beach facility of my R&D shop. So we're doing complete your axles, wheels, and tires, our coilover system, doing that stuff here. Worked out pretty good. We're back. I got like 6-7 builds lined up right now. We got to finish those. Been wanting to focus on manufacturing a lot more this year. So I got a great team on the Evo manufacturing side. Andrew's been running a great job, and Robert's my production manager. Just great team of people here. So I've been really kind of hands off a little bit for a long time on the manufacturing side. And my goal this next year is to be more hands on. I got the corner office. We're here all the time. Just kind of new, almost a fresh set of eyeballs on what we're doing for this next level. So we're getting a lot more systems in place to be able to produce a lot more products. So the manufacturing side where I want to be, that's the key. All kinds of cool new stuff coming out that we get to test. That's the part I like the most. So we got a lot of new stuff. So the manufacturing is really killing it right now. And then the shop is, like I said, I tried to slow it up a little bit. We're focused on big builds. It's been really busy. I took on another property, bought another property out in Arizona by our river place. We're going to be just setting up another shop out there for big builds. We service a lot of people from out of state over here. That's kind of what 80% of my builds are all from out of state. So it don't really matter if they come into California or not. So we're setting up a pretty cool shop out there. So this fall, we'll have a full crew out there doing some stuff out in Fort Mojave.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now as far as the manufacturing, like obviously Jeep is, I'm assuming you do more than Jeep, or maybe it's just Jeep. But as far as like your builds, like, dude, I got to go on JK Experience, which to me was one of the best trips of 2019 for myself, and obviously the terrain we went on was not for the average day 33-inch tire Jeeps. Like, you guys built some pretty epic Jeeps. I mean, as far as yourself, like in what you build, like, is your passion the long arms and coilovers? Or, I mean, I feel like you guys do some epic stuff.
Yeah, I like to. My passion is kind of a functional vehicle. I like to build functional stuff so that performs well. So yeah, absolutely. Coilovers is where we kind of made our niche in it. We started branding with the right people and really worked, really looked in depth in stock valving and tuning and how to make a streetable car, not just pure off-road, but it can do both. So I really pride ourselves on stuff that you can drive from here to Maine, rock crawl, do whatever you're gonna do, and drive back or go pre-run Baja with it. So we have been focusing more on that. Me, myself, I just like being outdoors doing stuff. So it really doesn't matter. Back in the day, I was racing off-road for desert racing dirt bikes. District 37 is what that's where I cut my teeth on. I love that stuff. Just being outside, hunting, fishing, just the outdoors is where my passion's at. And then the Jeep brand has came along so far. It's always been a hardcore brand that we've kept. But when the JK came out and everybody was saying that Jeep ruined the vehicle, that was just the right window for us to jump in and prove it wrong. And that's where a lot of the adventures that we're doing are stuff where other adventures didn't want to have a mall crawled JK on the trip. So we started doing different stuff to showcase how well they actually are.
Now, well, I want to get into that real quick. So now that you on the adventure, like, now, like, you do some of the most bitchin' adventures there is for Jeeps.
Thank you.
Thank you. To me, you had the perfect amount of gnarliness and beautiful graded dirt roads and epic towns. I mean, can you tell some people, like, I want to know about some of your adventures that you've already done, and then obviously we can get into where you want to go if the world opens up.
Yeah, no, we try on our experiences. We try to make it like that, kind of that ultimate family vacation, follow your dad, have a good time trip. So we've done all the way from like the Biltmore Estates in North Carolina. They opened up for us. We got to park Jeeps on the front of there. We drove that all the way down to Florida. The off-road parks, when you're going to doing pre-runs on these trips, you have to physically go, and drive around. You meet the coolest people, and they all know the cool spot around this corner, this guy's farm. They might open up, let you go shoot firearms. You just never know what you're going to get on the pre-runs. And some stuff you can't hit it all, right? So we have to kind of eliminate some of the stuff. But I like nice hotels too. We like the camping experience. So if we can round them all out and have a great weekend trip that, we're dealing with, everybody's so busy anymore. So it's nice to be able to get somebody on the trip. They don't know where they're going, so they're trying to guess the whole week. And, so they get to actually kind of release and they're just following the dude in front because really we don't know where we're going that night. And so I try to keep the secrecy like that, just mainly for the whole trip because it's funner. You get to kind of release, and now you might just look outside and go, oh, I never really realized that ghost town or that mine shaft back there. What do they do there? Because you're not focused on, are they going to have Wi-Fi tonight at the hotel? So I've been very, very fortunate. Great brand partners. Nitto has really been helping me out on these adventures. They were the first one that helped us out back on our very first trip. And then they came back a couple of years later, came in and were title on it. We couldn't do these adventures without Nitto. And to be able to showcase how well the tires go too. So that kind of just goes hand in hand. And that grassroots lifestyle. So you just meet the coolest people on these trips, and you just don't know what you're going to expect out of it.
Yeah, I would say that was the hardest part for myself. Like, I'm very strict to a schedule, and I thought I just missed the email that I never got an itinerary. So like I was like partial winging it in my head, and then partially going like, I don't want to be the idiot asking for an itinerary, even though it's been sent out 3 times, and you just didn't get the email. And like, it didn't take until the first day when I was like, dude, how? And then somebody finally was like, no, he never tells anybody anything. I'm like, what? Dude, I needed to know that. Like, I just felt like, oh, maybe I just missed an email and I look like an idiot. But dude, I think you're totally right. If you would have scheduled it and told me everything that I was going to do, you're right. I could have looked into it. I'm going to have phone service here. I'm not going to have phone service there. I'll do this. And I know where I can kind of shortcut or get out. Like, doing it the way you did it, like, absolutely made it enjoyable. Like, it was just fun, not knowing anything, and I had a blast.
I appreciate you coming on the trip, and I could tell you were like that. And the first couple of days, people they really fight with themselves on it. You're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then afterwards, then it kind of you kind of get to start enjoying yourself. And it reminds me of, like I said, we always went off-roading, we always did hunting and fishing, all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you what, my dad didn't tell me where we're going to go. I just, come on over. He goes, what are you paying for it? Don't worry about that. And I would get in the truck, so we go and do whatever he's doing, and that was the trip, And so we just try to mix it up, and you can't make everybody happy. You can make the majority of the people happy. We try to get a good round mix of not just hardcore stuff. Sightseeing and neat trails are just the biggest part of it as just the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on the trip. And again, that was in your backyard. We've done a lot of those trails. It's just how you mix them up, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And what group of people you get.
Yeah. No, dude, that was great. And the camaraderie. I mean, dude, that was a great. You definitely do a good job of putting the right people on the group to make it. Felt like everybody got along so well. It was definitely a killer adventure.
Yeah.
So
it's been pretty cool.
Now, so Alaska, you have another adventure coming up. Like,
yeah.
How do you pick the destinations? Like, and now not only do you not like, we don't, if you keep some of it secret, but like, just so the fans know, you do JK only, so it's all JKs, I'm assuming. Then you do J.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, then you have JL. Then you have a JL one, and then do you do a JT one, or do you do JT with JL? How does it all work?
This one will be JL and JT. We kind of combine the two for this Alaska trip. So it is so far, it is epic, and people kind of plan their whole time around wanting to do that Alaska trip. So we did it 4 years ago, so we're doing it again this year. But yeah, that's dividing up the group. As funny as that sounds, that's what makes the group all kind of become a team. So absolutely, this next year we'll have a JT event by itself and a JL, because everybody likes to be a little bit different and separate. And then you get to kind of see, if you have all pickup trucks, what are you hanging off the back of here? What do you got going on there? Everybody kind of identifies with it. And then, so we do try to keep them separate. We'll have a Bronco one too coming out, and then KMC jumped on board on a UTV a trip that we're going to have out of our place in Arizona this winter. So yeah, but keeping the group of people together is part of key of having a good trip for that small, relatively under 20 people group. I love old Jeeps, and I'd love to have them for every brand, but as it seems to get, after that vehicle's over 10 years old and 100 people touched it, it's the trip tends to take a lot longer from, what wiring harness in there? I don't know. They're all red. Where's the fuse box? I don't know. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. The more modified they get, the tougher it is to make that destination.
Yeah.
And it seems to be like with the JKs anymore. We're still doing another hardcore, our 10th anniversary hardcore runs this year. But the JKs, over the years, the road days have been taking longer and longer and longer, from overheating, V8 swaps, this. And we love them all. They're all good brands out there. Just the more you touch, the harder it just to get the whole group to point A to point B.
That's so funny.
I'm looking forward to a little bit break on the Gladiator and the JT. Again, relatively new. So we'll just deal with regular issues of whatever breaks when you're beating them up. And then it's hard to get, the older they get, the harder they are to work on. A little more stuff to touch.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. Every time I go look at some good deal, when you look under the hood and it is every wire's red, it's like, when there's where do you start? Like, it's a disaster. But that's funny.
Yeah.
But all right.
And we run a all the volunteer crew, so those guys are angels to me. They'll meet me anywhere on the planet, and they're working on the cars, so I don't have to. And it's just it's easier if it's based off of the factory.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I leave all the stuff. One thing I never touch, and in all my Jeeps right now, I get the stock motor, stock tranny, and stock T-case, just because if I got a problem anywhere in the United States or anywhere in Mexico, I'm just going to go to a dealership, plug in, and tell me what my problem is so I get it fixed and get on the road.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of traveling, and seems like the more and more traveling we do, the more that becomes very valuable.
Yes, it is. So, well, all right. Well, now I got a question for you. Like, you were going to go Jeeping. Anywhere you could go Jeeping in a Jeep, where would we see Mel Wade? If you had 2 weeks, no time limitation, could travel anywhere to go Jeeping, where would you go?
That's a tough one, man. I like everything. Everything is so different from the deserts down to Mexico. There's spots that I haven't explored that I really want to. South America is one big spot. That's super cool. But that area down there, I haven't seen. I want to check that out. So if I had unlimited budgets and stuff like that, it'd probably be South America right now. I haven't touched that at all. I'd love to spend more than 2 weeks down there. But I'd like to check out and see what's going on out there. Africa, Australia, got some great followers and fans out there that support us. Want to spend some time out there. Again, it's such a big place. We need some time, but it's just I just love it all. It's just, it could be the swamps, or it could be muds, it could be sand. The people you meet is what it's all about. It's you meet the quirkiest and the coolest and the most business, the billionaires. It's just, you don't know what you're going to meet out there. We all like dirt, and that adventure. And so once you go out, you have to go do it. And then once you get out there, it always just opens up. So I don't know where you'd find me, man. I don't know. We like everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny you said, Sal, that one of my goals one day would be to drive Jeeps all the way down to the Panama Canal and then put them in a container, bring them back home. And then the next year would be put them in a container, bring them back down to Panama Canal, and then fly in at the start there and then go all the way south from there.
Let me know when you want to do it. We have a good.
It would be epic.
Good friend Ned Bacon, our good friend Ned Bacon did all the way from. They drove all the way up to Prudhoe Bay in a Volkswagen van again, and then all the way down to Panama Canal, ferried it across the canal, or all the way down to Colombia.
Yep.
Ferried it across. There's a gap right there you can't drive, and then they took a couple weeks off and they drove all the way down to tip of Chile. So it's see these trips, and that was no off-roading whatsoever, just regular dirt roads, all that good stuff. So to mix in some adventure with it would be absolutely awesome. I heard you talk about the sand dunes, or maybe his dad talk about the sand dunes down there that were just massive, right up against the mountains, and I'd love to see that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's same. I have not been. It's my dad, because my grandpa did it. Like in the 80s, he went down. They bought Jeeps just to drive them down there to sell them and not bring them back.
Wow, that's a smart idea.
You're right. Yeah. No, it was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, that type of deal. One of those would be epic. So, all right. Well, what about most epic build?
Been blessed with a lot. We had a cool Bronco a while back for Kevin Fitzgerald with Method. That one came out. We named it El Coyote. So we used a brand new Coyote. Crate motor was coming out in a 67 Bronco. The epic part about that build was it took me damn near 3 months before I could even cut the Bronco apart. It was so cherry. It was a factory red. They bought it. It's been their family since 1967. It's a California car, no rust on it whatsoever. And it was like, are you sure we can buy a, we can make a tube chassis, we can do this. Let's just, build it from the ground, ground up. Nope, I want to cut that one up. So that one was pretty tough cutting them up. Then we were blessed with two. We became friends with a shakeover in Abu Dhabi. They flew me over back in 2007 to build, to actually do differential gears. And we did some minor stuff with them. And he sent his cars back, the ones I built a long time ago. He sent them back, and then we rehashed them. So that was kind of a fun thing where he just dropped them off and, hey, build them how you want to build them. And so we kind of did some shape on them. But that's what the Jeep stuff, as far as vehicles and stuff like that goes, I don't know. It's everyone's unique, and it seems like the ones that bite back the most when you're building them are the ones you remember. Those easy ones just kind of, I forgot I built that, whatever. But I have an M37. I don't have it right now. I'm probably going to end up buying it back yet. I have an M37 that we did a really quick build on it for Ultimate Venture one year. We did axles, coilovers, and a small block Chevy in it, but just a rusty old truck, no AC. I've had that thing across the country. Just when you're driving, you're fighting this thing to drive. Is it going to make it? It's the oil smoking. Is it going to catch fire? I don't know. This is one of those vehicles where it's like, it's an adventure just to get somewhere with it. And then you take it for granted on these other builds. You turn the key and you can, there's vehicles. We're out, we did that Alcan rally and minus 45 degrees temperatures. And the thing just fires up and they go, and, the vehicle is kind of your livelihood. And when it just works like that, you kind of forget that vehicle. It's like, it just did. But it's just so the technology right now is so great with the vehicles out there.
How was the rally? My dad had an absolute blast.
I had a great time with your dad. I hadn't spent a whole bunch of time with Ray, and we ended up pairing up. And so it was me and my daughter Harley, and Ray and Kyle.
Yep.
So we ended up being a buddy system. And so we were with each other the whole time. I had an absolutely epic time with him. I didn't know a whole bunch about your company, the Currie Enterprises, and got to learn a lot about it. It sounds like you guys were raised up a lot like myself, raised up, hardworking, make do with what you got and build it from there. So I had a really good time with him. The trip was just absolutely, to be up there in the wintertime. Winter's the most scary. I do a lot of desert stuff, and people talk about heat, and the heat will kill you. Don't get me wrong. That frozenness, the minus 45 degrees, you're gonna die. There's nothing else. You need something. You need heat, and that is like the most remote. Even though it's a road that was graded, and you can get out to these spots. We had better cell phone signal at the Arctic Ocean than we have in Johnson Valley. So it's amazing you can get that out there. But that trip was just absolutely epic with all the snow. It's truly a once in a lifetime trip. And I said that to my daughter on the trip. It's kind of funny. We're up in I forgot where we were even at the Yukon River, and I go, you know what? You're not going to meet. There's going to be maybe 1% of the people you meet over your whole lifetime are going to come up to these parts in the wintertime. And she goes, Dad, that's not true. All your buddies are here. so, you're up there with all the same guys you're doing. So that doesn't necessarily work for me or her or you, Casey. Yeah. But that kind of remoteness is just absolutely amazing. To be able to see that in the wintertime, see it in the summertime is awesome. To be able to see it in the wintertime with just that more chance of something happening, that risk taking is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, like it's crazy. A couple of the stories that I heard that were just unbelievable. Now, like I didn't go because they just got back from Dakar. I was burnt out. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a busy year, and like all of a sudden, it's like that was the last trip that basically happened. It's like should have been on that one. But two things that were pretty unbelievable is like first driving like 70 miles an hour like it's a highway on the river. Like he's like there's no road in the summertime. It's water running, and that during the winter, it is actually the road. And it's like, dude, that is wild to think that the way the people travel, just the way they travel in the winter is by rivers, on ice. Unbelievable.
Absolutely, and they have these big river boats that are frozen next to you on the frozen lake that you're driving, or frozen river you're driving on. So you have the ice roads. We drove up to an Eskimo village up there. And it was like 60 miles upriver to this town that's only available in the summertime. They have to take boats, and we drove up to it. Really cool. Just pretty neat. Again, though, that's just that adventure of going out there and actually using it. The vehicle, we showcased it in that environment. We could have did it with a stock car of some sort. Again, it's that off-road feeling. That environment, the people have so much to do with it.
Yeah. Another story that my dad was pretty, it was one of those stories, hey, I don't know exactly how this is going to go. There was a storm. We ended up having to stay a day late. We're going to drive like crazy amount of miles, which is like, even in America at 75 degrees, that's a long day. And it's like, we're going to start crazy early in the morning. We don't know if there's going to be gas, but it's Mel and I, and we're going to go. He has one dump can. We'll try to share it. And we're going to go as far as we can. It's like, what? And then sure enough, gnarly.
Absolutely. Yeah, the day you're talking about was all the way from the farthest you could drive in Canada to the Arctic Ocean, Tuk-Tuk, or I don't even know the name of the Indian name, down to Dempster Highway, which is epic by itself. And then we drove all the way down to Whitehorse. So I think it was right around 800 and something miles. Yeah, and the team, or part of the group, left the day before to try to get a jump on it. A storm came in, blocked the pass. They had to sleep in an Eskimo's church. They all slept there. We were lucky we had a hotel. We go to leave butt crack of dawn. Ray's waiting with us. We had the crew. We're going, and then I couldn't find my cell phone. I was at the house. I had to go back to the hotel, look for that. Ray stayed with us. And then, we were lucky. We had an extra pony tank on it, and so if we needed something, we could swap tanks, or swap some gas. But it was a long, epic day. You're absolutely right. That one's one to check off the list. Most people don't do 800 miles in the summertime.
No.
And we were cruising some speeds that I don't think we should be talking about. It was absolutely amazing. None of us went a ditch that day. I went a ditch the day before. Goofing off. The way the roads go, it's all perfectly graded, right? And so us being down here in the lower 48s, if you see a snowbank, it's usually kind of hard because it'll melt. So if you doze the snow, it kind of goes up and freezes and sticks. So those bankments are pretty stiff. Up there is all powder. So when they grade the front, it might be a big old ditch off to the side that goes down 4 feet.
Yeah.
Perfectly flat. I caught a rut. I went, whoa. We got in there. It was just snow everywhere. Ray gave me a tug and we pulled this out, but just neat. We had a good time on that trip.
That's what's so gnarly. Is like all those type of things. You're just like you're saying. Like you would feel that it'd be harder on the sides. Like coming from California, like you would never know that kind of stuff. Like,
it was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Real quick, we got. By the way, if anybody has any questions, write a message. We're live, Mel, just so you know, on Facebook and on YouTube. And right now, actually, Kyle says we have some questions. So, Kyle, what do you got for us?
All right. So, Tim Moyer wants to know why not a TJX, Mel?
Oh, that's a good question. There's plenty of opportunity for a TJX. I personally don't have a lot of products for the TJX, so it doesn't help me on that side of it. So that's why we just kind of started on to where we're having products up for Evo manufacturing. But good question.
What do you got, Cal?
So, Frontier Lifestyle.
We do have
what is the toughest? Go ahead, Mel.
Go ahead, Mel.
I'm sorry. We do have our Jeep experience, so in Texas. So in Texas, we rent out a whole off-road park, and we open it up to all brands Jeeps. And we also have our Jeep Bash where we do a Jeep car show. But our Texas Jeep experience, we have any brand Jeep out there you want, and it's been a really fun trip.
Perfect. Go ahead, Kyle.
So Frontier Lifestyle wants to know, what is the toughest trail in the United States? This is for both you guys.
That's a hard question because there's tough trails that are trails, and there's tough obstacles that are buggy stuff. So it's Casey's been blessed. I've been blessed with the off-road scene, and there's definitely two different where it's two different questions almost. So like there's nasty obstacles out there, and then all the hammer stuff is really nasty. But there's other trails out there where you have these big waterfalls, and there's more what I would say buggy lines. So if we're nasty stuff taking your vehicle through, Johnson Valley can definitely give you a hell of a run for a lot of those trails out there. The Chili Challenge stuff out of Las Cruces is pretty nasty stuff. And believe it or not, there's some cool nasty stuff up in Colorado. Carnage Canyon is pretty legit. There's a nasty waterfall at the end. I think I pulled cable with Evo 1. You can still fit vehicles through there without having to be full buggy. What about you, Casey?
I'd agree with basically everywhere you said. But, one thing that when people say, I think a lot of the Jeepers in the world are looking the ultimate adventure as far as like what is that adventure of having tough obstacles but going like, and I would say that the days like for me were days like, yes, we can go to Moab in a Jeep and it's gnarly. Pritchett Canyon in a Jeep JK or JL it's tough without getting body, you can get through without getting body damage, but there's obstacles. But for me, there's certain days like, I don't know where Nitto just went with like Chris Corbett and Lauren Healy and those guys, but that looked tough. But even days like the first day of JK experience, you took us up some waterfall, a river basically that was dry. I mean, but days like that is where I don't exactly know where we were outside of Reno by like 45 minutes.
Bronco Canyon.
But to me, those are the type of trails when I say, all right, like a day adventure, that would be an epic extreme adventure for a guy that has a Jeep. Even on 40s, like we were still there was parts that could get you hung up. There's ways through there that are difficult. And you're using your lockers, but there was some trees that were tight to get around. I like that kind of stuff. I like where, the buggy stuff, it's gnarly, the hammers is gnarly, and but like I think the adventure for me is going to those tough, difficult areas in a Jeep and leaving with no body damage, right? I don't want to ever get any body damage, and I don't think any Jeep guys that own a JL or even a JK want body damage. And to go and find that trail, that is the hardest trail you can do. But at the end of it, if you do everything right, you're going to have no body damage.
Yeah, that's a happy mixture you try to get. And on our trips, believe it or not, we usually pre-run like with 37s on them to try to get that feeling to where you can make it over if you really walk it, and then a 40 should be able to make it. But I'm with you. There's not doing body damage on a brand new Jeep it ruins the day. You start ripping off door panels and stuff like that.
It definitely does. You got another one, Kyle?
Yeah. So Bad Ain't It wants to know that. It seems like, Mel, you have a good relationship with Chrysler or Jeep. Your stuff's on Mopar/Jeep concept vehicles. He wanted to know if you could go into detail on your relationship with Jeep, if you have one, or if that's just something that they like your products, so they put it on there.
Oh, sorry, cutting out there, Kyle.
Yeah, he basically is asking if you have a relationship with Jeep and like basically, or if Jeep just uses your product for a lot of their builds.
The guys at Jeep they've been very very nice to us. We've always been kind of Mopar family and doing that stuff. And I've always been the outside looking in and a really big fanboy of the product. They reached out to us on a couple of builds to be able to help out with some certain stuff, and that's kind of how we got a relationship with Mark Allen, the head designer. Is a super cool, neat guy. I've got to talk to him a few times, and we think the first thing we helped out with was kind of a RAM assist setup on OG40. I think was the vehicle. No, not OG40 is my vehicle. It was lower 40. Their very first JK on 40s. Did like a little RAM assist setup on it. And then we got to help out with the forward control deal. They had a forward control concept vehicle. Got to help them out with that with a long arm kit and kind of dial it on the suspension on the coilovers. They've been very nice to us. Like I said, I don't know. We've just been blessed. That's really all I can say. Yeah, just nice guys. I don't ask nothing of the guys. I'm not that kind of guy. But if they need anything, we're more than willing to help them. Kind of like the old magazine days where we just kept the door open for any kind of magazine build or something like that. If I can help them out with something, we can help them.
That's awesome.
We're very fortunate on the JL. We got to help out with Sandstorm. And then they did on the Gladiator build. They did one with our coilovers on it. So super neat. Very very happy to be able to say that I even know those guys. It's very very neat. The JL when they launched that, the JL and the Gladiator, to see that they listened to not me, but they listened to the whole off-road community and kind of checked stuff off the list. Made the wheel wells bigger, made that better, put switches in here. All that little small stuff, the Jeep brand itself and the guys that are designing the parts and the guys that they're testing the parts, they're really enthusiasts. And so they want the best product they can for it. And so they actually listen to the off-road enthusiasts on how to make something better. And that kind of combination is really tough. A lot of times when people are designing stuff, they get so narrow-minded. No, I'm the best. This is the way it is. Not take an idea for to make stuff better. So, anyways, long story. I don't have any really. We didn't really. It's just been over the years working together with people, and I've been very very blessed.
Yeah, that's cool. You're definitely the guy there. I love it. You're the orange Sandstorm one with the like coilover bypass.
Yeah,
that thing.
Like
that you did a great job. That was a killer build. You got any more, Kyle?
Thank you.
Yeah. So Devin Wilson and Thaddeus Petro both want to know what's going on with the new trophy truck.
They're asking what's going on with your trophy truck.
Yeah. Just I try to make some money, and I want to throw it out the window. So that's what we're doing with that.
Oh, God.
So it's like, get it and then throw it out. But it's been a dream of mine seeing these guys out there. My buddy started racing trophy trucks about 10 or 12 years ago. Robbie Pierce used to own Mastercraft, and I bought Gemco. And he ruined me in off-road about 8 years ago. He let me go for a drive in his luxury pre-runner. And it's like, oh, man, all the stuff I got sucks. I got to make it better. And so he ruined me there, and we were trying to set that bar. It's been a family project. My wife actually, it's been 2 years since we had that chassis. It's an old Ivan Stewart chassis. It's a Pro Truck chassis. My wife, we were in Arizona for the 4th of July weekend 2 years ago, and she saw it on Facebook market ads as a rolling chassis. She said, "Hey, check this out." And I said, "Oh, cool." So wife says, "Go ahead, let's do it." And it was typical one of those things that I should have built a truck from the ground up. There wasn't nothing to really use on that thing. You've been through the same thing, Casey.
I own one now.
Yeah, so it's like we did use the basic part of it, but yeah, we did. We made it a foot wider, more wheel travel, 36 inches in the back. We couldn't get that much out of the front. We got a real 23 full strap to bump, which is legit. We pushed the weight in the back. Main thing is I've been trying to reward my son and family a little bit. So he's going to be driver of record on it. He's always wanted that kind of stuff. I made the seat big enough for me to fit in it. He's been putting in some long hours onto it. Harley wants to start racing our Evo 1 vehicle, so that's pretty cool too, my daughter. So we're going to be getting into that a little bit more. So it was just one of those things. I've always wanted one. We had a bad weekend last weekend. I took it out to go testing and lost another motor. So I'm having some kind of oiling issue, but that's part of that. Just throw it out the window. But it's one of those things where we'll work to the bugs. That's a race car for you. And super excited you guys are following. I see we have the truck, so thank you guys. We want to get a G body on there, a grill or something to go with it to give back to the Mopar guys to help us out. But that's it. We're going to race some best and other stuff with it. We're going to really have to learn how to drive in two-wheel drive. It's not a four-wheel drive truck, two-wheel drive truck. And so there's a big learning curve for us on that. So this year we're hoping that, we wanted to be able to do more races with all the stuff that happens. Everything went on a slow-mo. So it'll probably be 2021 before we get some seat time in there. But looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. Next, Kyle.
So business related, Currie Richardson wants to know anything you do differently in business if you had the chance.
Business related. Well, you're always learning. So I'm a mechanic by trade, and so we've built all this without having. We never borrowed any money for loans. We always did on a shoestring budget, and so you can't afford it, don't get it, and we kind of grow. It'd be a lot different starting with knowledge of where you're at now and be able to start something with more money. So you can make some decisions on that. But a lot of it's not about money. A lot of it's trying to treat your customers, which are very valuable, as best you possibly can, and try to make everybody happy, even though you can't. Doing business, that just happens sometimes. But there's stuff you would want to do different, but I can't really say that I do a whole bunch of stuff that different. It's just hard work's what's going to get you through. New ideas. I love that part of it. But not dreaming big enough is one of those things where, it's kind of, my first step was, man, I want to own my own shop, and then I want to do this, and then I want to do this. And so the sky's the limit. We live in a place, the USA, and I'm a big fan. my favorite spot in the world, that you can do whatever you set your mind to, if you're going to work towards it. And there's great people around you to support you. If you're going to put in the time and the effort, there's a group, there's people that want you to succeed. There's people who want to pull you down too, but there's people that want you to succeed. You can do it if you got focus and want to learn how to do something. You can do it. So we were really blessed. Don't know if I'd change much stuff.
That's awesome. We're the same way. I feel that the mistakes that I make are where I learn the most. So I get kicked down a lot, and every time somebody wants to take you down, you can only learn from that to make everything better. So I'd agree.
Yeah.
Any more, Kyle?
Would you?
Chris Corbett wants to know, Mel, where's Spicoli hiding in the shop right now?
Where's who?
Spicoli. Where's Spicoli hiding?
Melvin. Come here. Chris is asking for you. So anyways, the shop is a family business. We have my kids are here all the time, and then my son, when he had long hair, looked just like the dude from Fast Five Richmond High. So that's why he was asking about that. Anyways, Melvin's 21 now, and then Harley is Harley's 19. Here he is, Chris.
Am I in trouble or something?
Is he
Where am I looking at? Do I look there?
You're looking over here.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, no, he was just asking. So that's been the joke. When he had his long hair, he looked like a surfer dude. But
Spicoli?
yeah, so these kids don't want to get on camera too often, but trying to get them more on camera, and they're just kind of shy.
So does he work in the shop every day?
Yeah, he is 100% full-time on the phones for customer service for Evo Manufacturing. So if you want to call up and ask about your coilover kit, you want to call up and ask about something, ask for M4.
That's awesome.
No?
Hand them off
Get the camera. Get the camera.
What am I doing?
See right here. See that little square?
Can't hear anything.
That's right.
There we go.
He can't hear. He can't hear.
So customer service is at his best right there. If you have a problem, that's who you're talking to.
Yeah. You can't hear?
No, I
Sorry.
can't hear.
That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, he's doing that. He's on the phones with that. So it's been working out pretty good.
Awesome.
Pretty sharp kid. He's been born and raised on the shop floor. So
Yeah, I got the same growing up, so I know how it goes.
Yeah, I can't hear.
So that's awesome. So Kyle, you got another one?
Yeah, so John Mapes wants to know, when are you coming back to New York to run the gorge?
Thanks, John. So John he runs an adventure park. Pretty cool. They do 4x4 training. He's out of New York City. Really cool park. His dad, where he was born and raised, has this property, this canyon that goes literally 10 feet behind his house, is nastier than most all the shit in Johnson Valley. So it's literally, his house is here and it's on his back door. And so we took the whole JKX through there, or the JLX this last year, and everybody was out. Nobody even tried it. So right behind the house. Anyways, thanks, John, for the question.
That's awesome. Any more, Kyle?
I think this one's more of a joke one, but 44 Motorsports wants to know, what's the biggest tire I can put on a JK without lifting it?
Typical on a JK, yeah, probably 35, 37. Depends on how much sawzalling you want to do. How much you want to cut it.
That is the truth. That's funny. All right, any more?
That's it for right now.
Awesome. Well, dude, so Mel, let's talk about that. Besides, we got the Alaska trip coming up, and you do own a 4400 car that is like pretty much one of the only Jeep-based ones. Are you going to run? Now, here, your daughter might run it. Are you going to do any more races with that this year?
This year we'll probably. I don't know. We got to play it by ear.
Yeah.
King of the Hammers next year, though.
You going to let her drive?
Get it through King of the. If she wants to, she might just go dog with me. But she wants some drive time. She wants to get comfortable with it.
Yeah, that race is definitely even on an easy day, it's still gnarly. So,
yeah.
Well, dude, Mel, it's already time. We're getting flagged right now, dude. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
dude. Time flies. I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us, dude. It's been an absolute blast. You guys got a lot of great things going on. Your products, your builds, everything is amazing, dude. We had a blast last year. I definitely, if I can go to Alaska, I want to go. But hey, just so everyone knows, where can everyone find you on social media if they want to follow along with what you got going on?
We do a lot of stuff on our Evo Shop Picks page, and then we also have Evo Manufacturing on social media, on Instagram. Sorry, but that's where we usually have my YouTube channel. Don't do much with that. JKX. We have our own YouTube channel for that also.
All right. Well, thank you, Mel.
Cool.
And Driving Line, no problem. Driving Line Nitto, thank you guys so very much. And everybody for listening and coming on. If you guys got any questions for either of us, let us know and we'll get back to you. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cool. Thanks. I think we're all done.